It's Brandy Oswald. Welcome to another at-home yoga class. Today we're going to be working on preparing our body for backbending sequences. And oftentimes when we think about backbends, we're really focusing on the back side of our body, on the spine, and thinking about opening and being flexible there. But in fact, a lot of our backbend opening and flexibility comes from the chest, the front body, and the shoulders. And so today we're going to work on how to open our front body to prepare for backbend sequences. And so today as we move through this class together, we'll work on a lot of strengthening, stretching, and opening postures that set us up for backbends. We'll work with a lot of prep poses. And you're more than welcome to stop anywhere along the way. We will build into two fairly deep backbends. We'll build into camel posture and that full wheel bridge pose. So you're more than welcome to take those, or if you want to just sit them out and listen to the technique that goes into them, you're more than welcome to do that, and then just stay with the strengthening prep poses if that feels better for your practice. I like to teach these opening in the chest and shoulder exercises, building us up for backbends, not because I think that backbends or any fancy looking pose is really all that important, but I think it's important that we feel good in our bodies, and that we take time for adventure and creativity and to be spontaneous with our bodies and just notice what they may be able to do. So as we move through this practice, don't be too hard on yourself about actually perfecting your backbend, but really focus on feeling good in your body, having a sense of adventure, and being able to explore some new movements and some new postures that you may not have been working on up until this point, or that perhaps you've never explored in this way. So staying lighthearted, staying fun, keeping this a really joyful practice as we open in the front body, open the chest, open the heart, and have a really fun, beautiful time together. So, to get started, we're actually going to start in a more supported posture, Supta Baddha Konasana. It will help us open up our chest to draw open in the chest, in the shoulders, and even in the hips a little bit, preparing us for some of the back bends that will come later. So if you have a block at home, you'll want a block. If you don't have a block, that's totally fine. You can stack some pillows, or you might even take a few books and stack them and then lay a blanket over top of them. Anything that will be able to support and elevate your body a little bit. And there's two ways to use the block for this posture. You can use it on the flattest surface, so it's not too tall. Or if you're familiar with the practices of yoga and you've been doing a lot of opening practices, whether it's yoga or stretching in general, you might be able to tip the block up another level so it's a little bit taller if you're a little bit more familiar with the backbends. And you can switch as we move throughout this. If you start low and you want to go higher, if you start high and want to go lower, you can always switch. It's your practice, it's your body. Do what feels good for you. From here, I'm going to set mine up on that middle setting. And then from here, we're going to lay the back side of the body on top of the bolster so the back side of the ribs are resting on the bolster, lifting the chest up. So we don't want this to be in the mid-back or the low back. We don't want to bring tension down there. It's more to the mid-upper back so that it's supported by those ribs. So I'll show you. You'll lay down and get yourself so that this part of the back here, where you squeeze your shoulder blades together, if that part can come down onto that block. And as you rest down, you'll notice the shoulders start to fall off to the side and the arms naturally fall to either side. You can let the head be heavy, or you can interlace the fingers and support the head with the hands and press the head down into the palms. And this even helps deepen that stretch across the chest. So holding here, elbows wide. I like to keep my feet crossed, opening in the hips. You might bring soles of feet together, or you could leave the legs long to release that hip a little bit. So notice what feels best for you, and then just let the eyes close, and we're going to hold here as we open our practice. Starting to turn your awareness into your breath, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. Long, slow inhale, long, slow exhale. Just allowing yourself to arrive here on the mat, to arrive here in the body, connected to the breath. Using each inhalation to invite some length, opening, spaciousness in the chest. And each exhalation to soften, melting you down onto that block, allowing yourself to be supported. And we'll take a few more rounds of breath here. With your next inhale, you can tuck the chin, start to rise the head up, drawing it into the chest. You can start to lift up, pressing into the palms, letting that block and those props slide off to the side. And from here, we'll transition into child's pose, just countering that stretch a little bit. So before we were opening the front body to the sky, and here we're going to bow down towards the floor, lengthening out the spine, sinking the chest down. Your toes can be together and your knees can be wide here to stretch into the hips, or if that's too much tension on the knees, draw them back together. And we'll just take a few rounds of breath here, grounding down, rooting into your mat, connecting to this space as we open our practice. With your next inhale, we'll start to rise up towards the tabletop position. You can slide the hands beneath the shoulders. So we have shoulders and wrists in alignment, hips and knees in alignment, tabletop position, belly pulling in nice and strong. And then from here, we're going to walk this out, combining child's pose and tabletop together to form our puppy pose. We'll walk the arms out nice and long, palms ground down into the mat, hips stay above the knees, and we sink the chest down towards the floor. This will bring a stretch across your chest, starting to stretch into the shoulders, and we'll just hold here. Really opening that front body, getting some space for when we work into those back bends. And this puppy pose is really great for opening in the front of the body, opening in that shoulder. Something that we don't really think about in back bends is that oftentimes we're reaching back, arms back, shoulders drawing forward, so they're rotating in. But to do that full wheel, that big back bend, hands and feet on the floor, you have to be able to reach overhead with the arms, so it's a very open shoulder. And that puppy pose helps to find that movement of being able to draw the shoulders open and press through with the chest. So puppy pose becomes a really nice prep posture for those big opening back bends. From here, when you're ready, from that puppy pose, start to slide the hands in. We'll come back into tabletop. As we find tabletop, you can tuck the toes under. Maybe take a few sweeps of the hips around towards the right side. And then sweep around to the left side, just loosening up. We'll start to come into our cat-cow sequence, opening in the chest, finding mobility in the spine. We're going to inhale, draw tailbone towards the sky, belly pulls in. Press the floor away with the hands, draw your shoulders back, lift your chest high and look up. On the exhale, tuck the tailbone, pull the belly in, start to round all the way up the spine, continue pressing the floor away with the hands, tuck the chin to chest, and round out the back of the body. 3 more times, inhale, open. And exhale, round out. Inhale. Exhale. One more time, big inhale. And exhale. Inhale, come into that tabletop, flat back. Pull your belly in. 2 important muscle groups here. Uddiyana Bandha, low belly, squeeze it in and up. And Mula Bandha, root up, pelvic floor, squeeze it in. On your next exhalation, tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward dog. Again, we want to bend the knees a little bit first, untuck the tailbone, extend the hips straight up to the sky. Press against the base of the palm, lengthen the spine long by pressing the hips back. And then from there, you might begin to pedal out the feet or lengthen the legs, dropping heels towards the mat. But you want to make sure those hips stay high and your spine is long. What we don't want is to round out here. We have a tendency to round out the spine so that we're curving rather than inviting length. We want to really invite length in the spine. Nice strong breaths here. Now the next inhalation will glide forward towards the top of a push-up, that high plank position. And you can lower down through knees and chest, hips high, or right down through a push-up, elbows in, however you'd like to lower. come all the way down, and then we'll come onto our bellies. As the belly presses into the mat, toes press down, elbows squeeze in towards the side body, chest is wide, shoulders drop down away from the ears. Inhale, start to lift the head and chest, cobra. Pulling those shoulders back, pull that belly in. Exhale, we'll come down. 3 more with the breath. Inhale when you rise, belly in. Exhale down. Keep those feet down. 2 more. Inhale. And exhale. 1 more time. Big inhale. And exhale. From here, keep the right hand where it is. We'll lengthen the left arm out nice and long. And from here, you're going to start to roll over towards the left side. Keep that left shoulder pressing into mat. Nice long left arm, right leg can come up and back. And we're stretching deep into that left shoulder. So my right leg is bending and it's placed outside the left thigh. Next, inhale, come back to center. Slide the left hand in underneath the left shoulder, right arm extends. From here, start to roll over to the right side, keeping right shoulder grounded down. Left leg lifts up and the foot can place down behind that right leg. Next, inhale back to center. Exhale here, we slide the right hand in, nice strong deep breath. Press the tops of the feet down. Inhale, rise up, cobra, or through straight arms, upward dog. Exhale, tuck toes, lift hips, downward dog. We'll take a few sun salutations here to warm up the body, building some heat before we come into those nice deep stretches. Inhale, bend the knees, step or float, feet up to the hands. Exhale to fold. Inhale, extend, halfway lift, reach through crown of the head, press back through the tailbone. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. This time, inhale, sweep the arms, come all the way up to standing, reach up, look up. Right into sun salutation A, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale to plank. Again, lowering down, plank, push up, or taking that modification, knees, then chest, hips stay high, elbows are in wherever you are. Inhale, glide forward, halfway lift or all the way up or down. Exhale, tuck toes, lift hips, and we'll hold down, dog. Inhale, step or float, feet to hands. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, we'll take 2 more. Surya Namaskar, sun salutation. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, plank. Inhale, upward dog. Shoulders back, chest open. Exhale and hold, downward dog. Next, inhale, step or float, feet to hands. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Last one, Surya Namaskar, sun salutation. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, plank. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale and hold, downward dog. Next, inhale, take the right leg, sweep it up towards the sky, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knee, let that hip fall open. Inhale, take the right foot, step it through between the hands, ground it down onto the mat. From here, we'll stay up on the ball of the left foot, tucking that tailbone under, driving left hip forward, legs squeeze together. Inhale, rise up, high lunge. Nice, strong, deep breath here. We're really lifting the chest high. And then exhale, release the hands down behind you, interlace the fingers. Inhale, lengthen through the arms, squeeze shoulder blades together, open that chest up, try to draw the heel of the palms together. Inhale, lift the chest high, drop the shoulders low, and try to walk the fingers away from the back side of the body. Belly continues to pull in as we open that chest. Exhale, come down, hover the chest above the thigh, belly pulling in. Exhale, release the hands. Inhale, sweep them out in front of you, finding that strength here. Next, inhale, come back up high, lunge, reach fingers to sky. Exhale, lower left knee down onto the mat. You can untuck those back toes if it's comfortable. Inhale, lift the chest high. Exhale, bend the elbows, squeeze the shoulder blades together on the back of the body. So we're drawing the elbows back behind us, squeeze the shoulders together. Belly pulling in. Inhale, lift the chest high, option to look up. Really working on opening the chest here. Next, inhale, extend up through the fingers. Exhale, hands on either side of the front foot, tuck the back toes. Inhale, step back, top of a push-up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Nice, strong, deep breath. Next, inhale, extend left leg to sky. Exhale, bend the knee, open the hip. Inhale, step left foot through between the hands. Finding that runner's lunge first, squeeze the legs together. Pull that belly in nice and strong. Tucking the tailbone under, drive your right hip forward as you pull the belly in. Get lighter and lighter on the fingers to sweep up, high lunge. Tucking tailbone under, drive that hip forward, big inhale. Exhale, release the hands down behind the back, interlace fingers opposite way. Inhale, lengthen through arms, squeeze shoulder blades together, draw the hands away from the low back. Big inhale, reach the chest up, option look up. Pull that belly in. Staying with that strong, deep breath, not holding the breath, breathing in and out. Exhale, release the hands. Inhale, sweep them up overhead. Big inhale. Exhale here. Inhale, reach. Exhale, start to come down. Extend out to the fingers, pull the belly in, hover that chest up over the right thigh, over the left thigh. Inhale, reach back up through the fingers. Exhale, right knee down onto the mat, low lunge. Untuck the back toes if it's comfortable. Inhale, extend here. Exhale, bend the elbows, squeeze shoulder blades together again, lift the chest high. Pull the belly in, squeeze the shoulders together, draw the elbows back, big inhale. Big exhale. Keep that breath going. Next, inhale, reach up through the fingers. Exhale, hands down either side of that front foot, tuck the back toes. Step that left foot back, we'll lower down through vinyasa, plank, up dog, down dog. And we'll hold here a few nice deep breaths. Next, inhale, glide forward, top of a push-up. Exhale, lower all the way down onto your belly. Release the toes, press tops of the feet down. Hands are underneath the shoulders and maybe just a little bit further back. Pull the belly in, inhale, halfway rise, cobra, floating head and chest. Exhale, coming down. Flowing there with the breath. It's an inhale when you rise, belly in, feet press down. Exhale when you lower. See if you can get 3 more. Really peel the chest open. Two more. Last one. From here, we'll press it back and lengthen out into our child's pose. Next inhale, come back up. We're going to come towards tabletop. Knees slide in until they're beneath the hips. We'll tuck the toes under. And from here, we're going to start to work on camel pose. Camel is a nice back bend that doesn't work on that open rotation in the shoulders. The shoulders are going to drop back a little bit away from the ears, but they're rotating internally, so we don't have to open them up. So from here, you can tuck the toes under. That will give you some more space. You can always use blocks instead of the feet to bring the floor a little closer. From here, we're going to press up so that the hips stack above the knees. Traditionally, we hear that we want the knees in line with the hips. I honestly need them open a little bit further to feel comfortable in my hips. You'll have to notice what feels best for you as you move through your practice in your body. So from here, engage Mula Bandha, pelvic floor, squeeze it in. Engage Uddiyana Bandha, low belly, in and up. And then from here, take one hand to the low belly, one hand to the low back, and see if you can just start to rock your tailbone back and forth. So just rocking that pelvic region back and forth, almost like you would be dancing, right? Get a little dance move going on in there. Wiggle those hips. Woo! Wiggle those hips. Woo! So you really do need to be able to wiggle those hips back and forth if you're going to come in to camel pose in a comfortable fashion. So what we want to do is on that wiggling of the hips, you want to be able to draw the hips all the way through. So you're really tucking the tailbone all the way through your hip, through your midsection. So you're tucking the tailbone all the way under, through the legs, driving the hips forward. Hips are pressing forward, thighs are pressing forward, but they're not way out in front of the knees. Rather, they're stacked, but we're just tucking and lifting tall. So there's a tucking under that gives us more space in the low back. Hands from here could reach back onto the lower legs or onto the hips. You're going to start to lift your chest up high, really high with the chest. Side body gets long. Shoulders draw back, and then hands can come to the low back, to the hips or the thighs, and you can hold here and just look up, continuing to press the tailbone under, drive the hips forward, and you can hold right here. I think this is an amazing camel pose. Maybe even the head drops back. If that's working out, you can add on and bring the hands down towards the heels, which I'll show you now. So from here, tailbone tucks between the legs, hips stack above the knees, chest reaches high, reaches high, reaches high, shoulders drop back, and eventually hands can come back onto the heels. And I'm lifting the chest up to the sky, pressing my hips forward. That will invite the length in the low back, that lifting of the chest and the drawing forward of the hips. And then the head can release off the back. Taking a few breaths there, and then when you're ready, press up the heels, come forward. All together, release the toes. We'll come down into child pose, but this time the shoulders can melt towards the knees, fingers come back towards the heels. Just rounding out the spine a little bit. And then we'll inhale, start to rise it back up. If you really like camel pose or that last one felt fairly easy, you can keep the toes down rather than tucking them, so the top of the feet press into the mat. And we'll inhale, take it back up, kneeling on the mat. So take any version that feels best for you. Toes tucked, hands on hips, toes tucked, hands on heels, or maybe adding on, lengthening out the feet, and we'll try it again here. So when you're ready, tailbone tucks under, Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha engaged, belly, chest rising to the sky, Shoulders drop back, hands start to place down onto the feet, lifting up through the chest, pressing the hips forward, gaze can come back. When you're ready to release, you press up the heels, send it up. Sit back with the hips, fold it down, and you might even want to bring your knees together. That will help round the spine out a little more. Shoulders melt down, folding down, hands come back, and the forehead can melt to the mat. Next inhale, we'll rise it back up. And then from here, you're going to want a strap or something like a belt or a piece of rope, something you can hold onto that's a bit long. So you can unroll your strap or whatever you're going to use. Really, you can use anything that acts as a rope. And then from there, we're going to work on opening in the shoulders and opening in the arms, preparing us for deeper back bends. So from here, you'll take the strap and loop it around your right hand and then send it up overhead. And from there, you're going to let the strap come behind you like this, grab on to the strap and start to pull down with your left hand. So the left hand walks up the strap and it pulls down. And as you pull down, you'll notice you're stretching the right tricep. So the back of that right arm is drawing open and we're stretching, pulling down with that left hand. And we'll take a few breaths here. To deepen that stretch, you can imagine drawing your right elbow back a little bit and then pulling down a little bit further. And then we'll release on an exhale and just switch sides. And I keep the loop right back here. I reach up with the left hand, I switch. Right hand walks its way behind. Right hand walks up the strap, finding a nice grab on that right hand and starting to draw downward. Again, walking that left hand further and further down the back. Option to draw the left elbow back here, opening even deeper in that left tricep. And with an exhale, we'll release the left side. Strap comes around and out in front of us now. And from here, we're going to take the strap nice and long. And we're going to grab onto it, like we're holding it, snapping it, right? And then from here, we're going to lift that strap up overhead. Holding here, strap is above the head, wrists and shoulders are lined up. You can start to draw the strap back behind you. And you're going to bring some tension onto that strap so you're pulling it apart and then reaching back. Starting to draw open in the shoulders. Finding a few nice deep breaths here. And then it might feel nice to start to walk the hands a little bit wider and continue drawing back. And as you draw back, you want to pull in with the belly and think about lifting your chest high. Like you're drawing your chest through your arms. And then on an exhale, we'll release, hands come out in front. And we're just going to take that one more time. Inhale, rise it back up. Exhale, gently letting it come back. If it feels like you have more rotation in the shoulders, you can reach back a little bit further, maybe opening that grab so there's some more space between the hands. And then on an exhale, we'll release. And if you have just a little bit of OCD like I do, you'll have to take a minute right now to roll up your strap because you just can't leave it all messy sitting off to the side because what kind of chaos would that be for the rest of our practice? If you've been gifted a mind that can find ease without that messy, with the messy strap sitting off to the side, amazing. You can leave that strap as messy as you want to. But if that tends to take away from your practice, just take a moment, roll it back up. We won't be using it again for the rest of our practice. So you'll have to be patient and humor me while I roll my strap back up so my brain's not all mush as we move through the rest here. There we go. Tidy, neat, amazing, peaceful mind. Let's see what we get from the rest of this. Now that we have a nice open chest from those beginning stretches, big open shoulders from those strap stretches, we're going to put it together and come into our full wheel posture, Urdhva Dhanurasana, in Ashtanga Yoga called Upward Bow. I'll preface my full wheel and let you know it's not that amazing. It's really not. I have been practicing for 10 years. Backbends are super hard for me. And I don't think the goal of any of our postures is to do the most amazing looking pose that people want to take pictures of, but rather it's just to do a pose that feels good. And honestly, doing backbend feels good in my body. I've gotten it to a point where I can feel the stretch where I'm supposed to be feeling it, and it feels really wonderful, even though it looks kind of clunky and it just doesn't look that great. So that's more than fine. If your full wheel doesn't look amazing like it's going to be in a magazine, who cares? Screw it. Do the most feel-good version of your upward bow, your full wheel that you can possibly do. That is the best one. So I'll show you my feel-good wheel. You can do your feel-good wheel at home, and we'll have a good feel-good time together. So when you're ready, we'll take this down onto our backs. Squeezing in with the belly as you lower your way down, protecting that low back. Once you find the mat, you can press the soles of the feet down. If you want, you can take a bridge pose to prep, pressing into feet, lifting hips high. Hands can stay on the mat as the hips lift up. This is a great place to start for wheel, and you could just hold here. You never ever have to go any further. But you'll notice that your shoulders are internally rotating. They're not opening up. So this posture doesn't help us with that open chest, open shoulder that we need for full wheel. But it is great for strengthening the legs and drawing the hips up, so you might just hold here. If you want to add on and to go into full wheel, we plant the hands up by the shoulders and we walk the fingers in as close as we can to the shoulders. I like to have my hands a little bit wider, but you'll notice whatever feels best for you is the version you'll want to take. From here, we press into the feet, and I like to lift my hips up first. And then from here, pressing into hands, drawing the crown of the head towards the mat, and then pressing the hips all the way up to the sky so that nothing but hands and feet are on the mat. Big inhale. And we'll start to lift. You can keep the heels down, but honestly, coming up towards tiptoes gives you more space to press through, finding that nice open chest. And then we'll exhale to come down. Hug the knees in towards the belly, nice big squeeze. And so for full wheel, you can keep those heels down, like I said, or coming up onto the tiptoes, under the balls of the feet gives you more space. You could walk the feet in closer to the hands and bring length into the low back. So option here to take another round of full wheel, another round of bridge, anything that might feel best in your body. And really notice when you come into that full wheel pose, that opening in your shoulders. So when you come back into full wheel, feel the shoulders open as you're reaching back, hands pressing into the floor. It's drawing open right here that we were stretching with the strap, right? And then you want to press your chest through like we were doing when we were holding the strap and drawing back. So imagine lifting through the chest, pressing it through the arms. Really lots of opening and length across the chest. So take a few minutes if you want to take another couple rounds of full wheel or bridge. You can pause the video and just play with it a little bit. And when you're ready, you can come back in. From here, we're going to come back to seated, lengthen the legs out long, counter pose to back bends or forward fold. So we'll take a few to counter that back bending sequence. So we'll lengthen the legs long, scoop out those hips. Inhale, reach up through the arm. And exhale, we'll fold over the legs, hands can come onto the floor, onto the shins. If you can reach, you can grab the sides of the feet. Inhale, draw the chest as close as you can towards those toes. Reach, reach, reach. And then exhale, tuck the chin and fold here. Next, inhale, we'll begin to lengthen. And exhale to walk our way back up. From here, we'll inhale, bend the right knee, drawing it up towards the sky. We'll exhale, bring the right hand back behind us, root down through the fingers, inhale, sit nice and tall. And then from here, left arm wraps around, left elbow can tuck outside that right leg. When you get your picture taken, fingers up to the sky, it looks pretty, it's nice, but the natural rotation of the shoulder is to let that hand come down. So I either like to reach back for my hip, or maybe step on that right hand as you twist around and look back behind you. You can bend that, or flex that left foot, toes point up. Sitting nice and tall, gaze goes back. Option to take that left arm if you want to add on, deepening the twist, finding a bind, left arm wraps around that right shin, comes back towards that opposite hip, and then the back hand lifts and you could bind the hands together and gaze back. And find that nice strong deep breath. Wherever you are, inhale, gaze to center, and exhale, release. And we'll just switch sides. Extending out the right leg, bending the left. Left hand comes back behind us. We'll sit nice and tall. Inhale, right arm tucks around that right thigh. And again, option, fingers to sky, fingers to hips, or coming for that bind, wrapping around, lifting that back hand, binding, and tipping the gaze back. Inhale, we'll come back to center, and exhale, release. From here, we'll bend the knees, scoot the hips towards the heels. We're going to lengthen out nice and long, and exhale all the way down. We'll bend the knees into the chest, nice big squeeze. One more twist here, releasing through the spine. We'll send the knees over to the right, lengthen out that left arm. You can ground down the thighs using that right hand, and we'll come into supine twist. Option to gaze opposite the legs. So we're working the legs in one direction, hips in one direction, as we ground down that left rib cage, that left shoulder towards the left side. Next, inhale, legs up to center, and exhale, over to the other side. Inhale, legs back to center. Give yourself a nice big squeeze here. Hug those legs in. Option from here, extend the legs up towards the sky, taking a gentle inversion. Or maybe coming into your shoulder stand, lifting the hips up off the mat, hands towards the low back. Elbows come in. We're reaching the weight up towards the sky, chin into chest. So we're not grounding the weight down, rather we're thinking about lifting up nice and tall. And we'll slowly start to melt the hips back down towards the mat. Knees can bend into the chest. One more nice big squeeze here. Any final movements, any final postures you might want. And then we'll start to lengthen the legs out all the way along, coming into our Shavasana, final resting pose. As you come into Shavasana, you can close the eyes, bringing your awareness back into your breath. And just really allowing space to continue to come into the front body. Open the chest with that inhale, breathing spaciousness, expanding. And using the exhale to soften, to melt down. Really using this time to be here in your body. Be present with your breath, present with the sensation. And just noticing that space you've created. You got a little adventurous, maybe trying some postures, some movements, some stretches you may not have done before, and just acknowledging your sense of adventure and creativity in your body through this sequence. And as you hold in Shavasana, I'll move us through a chant so that you have something soothing to flow you into that closing meditation. Guru As you're ready, you can choose to close your practice in Shavasana. We're beginning to deepen the breath, bringing movement back into the body, and slowly with the eyes closed, perhaps coming back into a seated position. As you find seated, we'll bring the hands together in front of the heart like a prayer, Anjali Mudra. Taking a nice big inhalation, filling all the way up through the nose, and exhale to empty. Inhale to fill up. Exhale to empty. And once again, as we always do, before we move out beyond this practice and into the rest of our day, recognizing how perhaps you can take this feel-good movement that we did on our mats out into the rest of your world. How can you use this peace of mind and body that you've created here on the mat to infuse it into the lives of others? Bringing peace and ease and joy into the lives of those you come across. So that yoga isn't only something that you do on your mat, a couple of stretches and postures, but rather you live your yoga, taking it beyond your mat out into the rest of your day. In closing, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Thank you so much for practicing. Namaste.